before I go on my rant, I have to tell you, this awesome music was written by iHas Channel. So if you need some intro music, go contact him. I'm going to link him in the crotch bar. I thought that I wouldn't see the day where I actually stand here and defend Ooj. But I have to say, the day has come. Miracles do happen, apparently. Anyway, I see Ooj being accused now all of a sudden of just having pretended to support women's rights in order to get into Nuclear Knight's panties. And I think that's complete and utter bullshit. They also accuse him of having turned around completely and showing his true side now, being a sexist, apparently. Which is just as much bullshit. He genuinely supported the rights of women all along, and probably a bit more than he himself would have if it hadn't been for Nuclear Knight's statements, but he supported the woman that he loved at the time, and cared about these causes as well, and stood up for them. And he didn't turn around. That's complete and utter bullshit. I'm fairly sure if you ask him now, he'll still stand up for women's rights. Just because a relationship ended doesn't mean that he's suddenly turning into a sexist pig, and it doesn't mean that he just did what he did to get into her pants. He probably fell in love with her because they had a lot in common. And to now accuse him of all these things is complete and utter bullshit. Just because you watched a video where he watches a girl practicing on a pole. Nothing more, nothing less. You didn't see them shag. You didn't see him exploit her in horrible fashion. He simply did a friend a favor by holding the camera and filming her doing her exercise. If there is more to the relationship between them, I don't care. It's possible. But even then, that doesn't mean he's a sexist pig, as you now paint him to be. So what if he might have fallen in love with someone else? It happens all the time. People fall in and out of love constantly. It does happen. So the relationship between him and Nuclear Knight went bad. That's fine. It happens. It's never a nice thing to break up, but you just have to move on. You have to cope, and you have to move on, and eventually you'll find a new partner, and you can live happily ever after. Or you break up again and find the next one. That does in no way mean that he ever betrayed any of the ideologies he stood up for before. I don't see how you can accuse him of such a thing as faking to stand up for women's rights just to get into Nuclear Knight's panties. Frankly, she's not attractive enough to actually fake an entire ideology. Could it be? Could you just think about the whole thing for 1 second, that he actually genuinely loved that woman? That he fell in love with her because they shared a lot of mutual ideas. And that at some point, he fell out of love. That doesn't mean his ideals will change at all. So please, for crying out loud, stop the accusations against Ooj. Stop calling him a sexist pig. Because if there's one thing I do not doubt for 1 second, is that he genuinely supported women's rights. Otherwise, he would have at least secretly told his friends, look, I'm just doing this to get into her panties. Which he never did. On the contrary, he actually fought with a lot of his friends to defend Nuclear Knight. Don't forget about that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on Ooj right now. You're not doing him any justice whatsoever. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was one of Nuclear Knight's supporters and friends, if not her herself, that snatched his channel away from him. But I'm not going to throw that accusation out there. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, moving on to one other issue that I have with Doll Snatch and the likes. How dare you pick on a girl that has nothing to do with the entire drama between Ooj and Nuclear Knight. Them breaking up should be their business, not yours, not mine, nobody's business but that of Nuclear Knight and Ooj himself. And then you drag this girl into it, who does nothing wrong except in the privacy of her own home perform an exercise on a pole, which happens to be her hobby and her way to stay fit. She doesn't do this professionally. On the contrary, she has quite a respectable profession. And just to exercise, she has a pole in her bedroom where she just practices on to keep in shape. And you attack her for it. You call her all kinds of names. You call her a slut. You call her a whore. You, at some point, I saw an annotation in that video where it said, "I wish the pole would just fall on her now," something like that. What the hell is wrong with you people? Why do you pick on her, of all people? Is that what standing up for women's rights is about? To pick on a girl that you don't even know, who is obviously not wearing a stripper outfit. She's wearing hot pants and a bra, but not the entire glitter stripper outfit, and who is clearly just practicing, because that move, as awesome as it was, because I know I couldn't do it, but that move was definitely not something that you would see in a strip bar. These people are usually quite a lot more advanced in their pole dancing than this. So why do you pick on her? Why the fuck do you pick out that girl and pick on her? I'm not even saying you should have picked on Ooj instead, even though that probably would have been a better target than the girl. But you should have just kept your mouth shut, because it was none of your business. It was between Nuclear Knight and Ooj. Leave the girl out of it. Stay the fuck out of it. You have zero business getting involved, because what actually happened, only two people will ever know. And that's Ooj himself and probably Nuclear Knight. Anything else that happened in their relationship is A, none of your business, B, unless you were right there with them the entire time, you wouldn't know jack shit about it. So shut the fuck up, Doll Snatch. Seriously.